Hello, everybody. I don't see Mr. Mark and I don't see Steve this morning, so I guess they spent too much time last night at the Oscars. So the only person we have is somebody who actually was a writer for Jimmy Kimmel Live, and we'll bring him in right now, Rick Rosner.
It
Rick?
is the Oscars' fault. We shoot at night and uh, one of our guys went through downtown, which is bad because of all the Oscar parties. So we started an hour late, and we didn't wrap till after 3 a.m. Mark's time. So I apologize because we kept him up too late.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I heard it even started like 5 minutes late because of the protest.
Yeah, the Palestinian protesters.
Yeah, between the Palestinian protesters and the Oscars. Actually, for a rare time, I actually stayed and watched it.
I thought it was pretty good. I love the John Cena bit. That was great. The I'm Ken singing, dancing number was insanity.
Right. Yeah, there were some really good parts to it. So, it wasn't a total waste of time, let's put it that way, to watch it. But the ending was kind of weird. That
I didn't see that part. I had to take off to start, getting down to, because to do our show, we have to convene across 35 miles because LA is huge. So I'm in northern LA. Lance is in southern LA. So.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And so that's why we do it on Sunday night, because that's the only time when getting from my place to his place is feasible.
You can actually do it. Yeah, but didn't you used to write for Jimmy Kimmel, the guy?
I did. And the last night made me sad because it was so good in places that just I was let go by the show before he ever started doing the Oscars. I got to write the Emmys one year, but I wish I was, part of that.
Yeah, but he had, when they showed it, he had like 21 people scripting.
Because
that many people, right?
It's not just the jokes that make it onto the show. It's the hundreds of jokes. You have to have, he maybe had 1,000 jokes to choose from. And so you take the best of those and you're going to have some pretty good jokes. Plus, during the show, stuff happens and you need a huge staff there because just one person, you can't count on that person to have a good idea. I mean, you'll have the more people, the more talented people, I didn't know he had 20 people. I mean, there's room for me to come up with some jokes that he wouldn't use, but no.
Really? Is that's how it works? But they're not freelancers, are they salaried?
No, they get paid for the night, and a lot of them, write for his nightly show.
Okay, all right. So they get paid per diem, or they are on a salary?
Well, if you work for the nightly show, it's one of the better better jobs to have for writing, because you get paid for a full year. You get paid for every week. If you write for a TV series that's 6 episodes, you write for 9-10 weeks if you're lucky, and then you have to go look for another job.
Right. Yeah.
And for the Oscars, I don't know how much it pays, but it's well worth it. And it's super fun because you get to see like the most famous people in the world in line to go to the bathroom.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I thought that was it was pretty interesting. I don't know if Sasha stayed up to watch the Oscars last night. Did you do that?
Yes, I did, because my wife loves Oscars and wanted to see what it's all about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, actually,
it used to be that it was event appointment programming that the whole family would that a third of the country would watch every year. Back when we only had 3 networks, and now people are spoiled, and they get a much smaller chunk of the population watching, and the show has to work a lot harder. The host, the writers, to make it like crazy enough and big enough to draw in viewers.
Yeah, to put the production on. But apparently it is worldwide, and they even had a group that won from Japan, which I found interesting in the visual effects. So They didn't totally exclude it, but I'm watching a show right now from Australia. It's called The Tourist on Netflix.
Yeah, I just finished
You
it.
see that?
Yeah.
Wow, it's the Coen Brothers redo, but I didn't think that in Australia they would have such, you know, uh, bloody type of,
Well, if you like The Tourist, you'll like the Gentleman, which is now a TV series by Guy Ritchie, and
Right.
it's the same kind of mayhem.
Yeah. Okay. No, I haven't seen that at all. The Gentleman. Okay. Well, I think they're doing The Gentleman in Moscow. That's going to be taking place pretty shortly.
Okay.
So, and that's a pretty famous book.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is a different, yeah.
A different gentleman.
Well, yeah, I mean, he made a movie, I don't know, 15 years back with Hugh Grant called The Gentleman, which is about, like gangsters, doing what gangsters do. And this one has gangsters plus rich, posh Brits and how they start crashing into each other. And
well, it's hard to find something good on television. I mean, I think we have Netflix, Acorn, Amazon Prime, PBS. Then we have the Paramount Plus. We subscribe to all these channels, and it's almost like you're flipping through and you're going, nothing's got a lot of pets.
Yeah, we do too. I've quit fighting the cable company when we get a bill that's like almost $300 every month. I'm like, all right, you're going to take all our money, but at least we'll be entertained a little bit.
You have entertainment. The thing is, so I guess that's a pretty good thing. So, what do you think of the Oscars, Sasha? What was your thoughts on that? It was the big thing yesterday.
Oscars. I think overall, I think it was probably as a production quality. I think it was, if not the best, and one of the best Oscars of all time. Probably, maybe even the best. Because the production was tight. Everything followed another with very little intermissions in between, and the quality, the appearance, how one presentation followed another one and the next one, and this was airtight. This was as the prize winners. It's hard for me to say because I must admit that I haven't watched Oppenheimer. Unfortunately, I will in a very short order, but I haven't watched it. From what I heard, this is, of course, movie of the year and so on, but I have to see it for myself. Barbie, I haven't seen it, and not have any plans to see it in the near future, or maybe not so near future, maybe in distant future just as well.
Far distant future.
No, not in my plans right now.
The thing with the Oscars is, and it made it tough to work for Jimmy, but Jimmy is like, he's a genius, and it's always bad when your boss is smarter than you, because you can't hide from, and this is his 4th Oscars, and he's made his show across the street. He's done like, I don't know, probably close to 2,000 episodes of his, no, more than 2,000. He's been on for 20 years now. And so he knows how to put on a show. His wife is a producer, also like just insanely skilled at production. And just, you've got a really good crew of people. Jimmy doesn't get enough credit for being really good because he looks like he's got the interests and the looks of a regular guy, but he's, to even end up in late night, for the most part, you have to be really good because it's such a demanding job. And he's experienced at this. And he's picked good, crazy writers who just come up with, that naked John Cena bit. I don't know if he came up with it or if one of his but like, imagine how excited they were when you had come up with a bit that is going to kill. It's a really good feeling.
He is very, very good, I must admit.
Yeah, I
impression.
thought they put on a good production yesterday. In other words, it was something that was worth seeing. Let's put it that way, and compared to a lot of stuff that's out there. Speaking of a lot of stuff that's out there, what do you think of the? Let's see, it was the Joe Biden speech, which was last week.
I think it was brilliant. It was probably the best of the best, maybe by all presidents of all time. I can't really see how any speech could be better than this one or even equal. And I have no words really. I thought that he will do very well, but anything can happen when it's a live presentation, and some gaffe or something could happen. And overall, it was a fantastic presentation.
It moved the betting market. Within a few hours of the speech, Biden's odds of getting elected improved by 14%, and Trump's odds declined by about 10%.
Wow. Okay. So it actually made a difference.
Yeah, Biden went from plus 175 to plus 150.
Yeah. See, there was somebody on LinkedIn. See, you have to have your negative people out there, right? Somebody on LinkedIn said that he was determined by psychiatrists to be drugged up for that.
Well, that's what Lance, my arguing partner, said last night, that Republicans, and apparently even a Republican congressman said that they thought he was on some pill that makes him energetic for 90 minutes. So they were trying to talk to him for a long time so he'd run out of gas before he could finish the speech, which is just garbage. And by the way,
my response was there's absolutely no evidence at all, zero, that says that Joe Biden was taking any drugs prior to his speech. Now, it's quite possible he drank a couple cups of strong coffee, and then he may not have even done that. He may have just been juiced for the speech.
Maybe those pills were anti-abortion pills. What do you think?
Yeah,
Plan B.
Well,
coffee is my drug. Like, if I don't drink coffee, I fall asleep every day at 3 p.m.
Yeah. So he could have been just caffeinated up. I mean, that's it. So,
or concerned for the nation, because he first joined the Senate in 1972, elected to it, and just concern for the country might have fired him up.
Yeah, you don't know. But the thing is, here's what I do know. The people that posted on LinkedIn were basically full of garbage. In other words, this is what gets me about individuals, because I can't blame this on a party, because no party took responsibility. But the individual on LinkedIn who posted it was so full of garbage, it wasn't funny. In other words, they just make it up. Like, hey, Joe Biden was on drugs. And they have no proof whatsoever. And it starts a firestorm. Oh, he's on drugs. Oh, look, they posted something on LinkedIn. It's a complete bloody lie, or it has no factual support whatsoever. So I immediately responded and I said, guys, you're just making stuff up. And they talk about fake news. What could be more fake than saying some guy's on drugs that with zero proof whatsoever?
I have a good question for your followers on LinkedIn. You know that Trump actually posted 91.5 millions or billions?
Yeah, millions.
Yeah, millions, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
The money was posted by Chubb. It's a large...
Yeah, Chubb is a big insurance company. I did some work for him years ago.
And who guaranteed the Chubb this $91.5 million? Does anybody on LinkedIn know?
Chubb does, but see, the insurance companies aren't stupid, Sasha.
No.
Hold
on. My question was, Chubb never ever would put this $91 million for Trump. It's impossible. In their right mind, their religion will not allow them to do that.
No, it's profitable.
Just to point out on the show,
it's very profitable. I even have clients that are what they call bail bondsmen. They basically, you get bail, they'll put the money up, they make 10% off of everything.
Hold on, real quick.
Just guarantee Chubb this.
Let me add context for you, Sasha. I was going to answer your question.
Sorry.
Let me
Chubb
add
has
context.
Chubb
I
has
must
$300 billion. It's
No.
Trump change.
No,
Check
let me hold.
me out, 'cause I work
You
with
guys
these
are missing
companies
it.
all the time.
You
Chubb
guys are
has
completely missing it.
300.
Let Jacoby say a thing. Let
Let
Jacoby.
me. You guys are completely missing it because the only reason Chubb guaranteed is the same reason that who was it last week? I apologize. I cannot remember her name because she pointed out about the timeshare situation where Trump had somebody on his cabinet and he released the timeshare lawsuit. The only reason Chubb guaranteed it, and the only reason Chubb guaranteed it was because the president of Chubb was on Trump's good side and actually was a giant Trump individual in his somewhere in his administration. I forgot where he appointed him, but that's the only reason that Chubb guaranteed it, because Chubb was a part of the whole Trump
You just
situation.
don't understand. My question is very loaded, very much so. In fact, the money guaranteeing Chubb to put this bond were from Russia. So we are at the point when elected president of the United States is financially supported and not supported. He's provided a lifeline of almost $100 million and soon $500 million by Russia, admitted that America has a choice now: go under Russia and be Russia's a little puppy and say, America, get up, lie down. Okay,
So
that's what you're looking at. Election of this idiot, this loser. This is what America is facing today, this year.
So Chubb is a huge company, and it's got arms in Russia that insure like a lot of their oil, projects. And so, yeah, that's what popped up in some stories that in addition to the collateral, the real estate, that Trump had to tell Chubb that you will get this if I can not pay any other way, and if we lose the appeal. Russian interests could have put their thumb on the scale to say, yeah, he might be a risk, but we'll cover any shortfalls. And yeah, it's going to be a bigger question later this week, I think, when Trump has to put up $500 million to appeal the real estate.
Just to add into that, and honestly, remember, Trump met with Orban over the weekend. Orban has already come out and said that if Trump is elected, he's not giving a dime to Ukraine. Who is Orban in partnership with? Orban is in partnership with Putin and Russia. So therefore, look at everything that the whole MAGA wing has done. If you look at any interview from any MAGA individual at this moment, they're talking about how, well, Putin really isn't a bad guy, and he's really trying to just get back what is his. So they have made a legitimate push to actually make Putin a sympathetic figure in the MAGA world. So therefore, Sasha, when you're talking about look at what they're doing, they've already done that. That's the sad part, is that they're already meeting with Orban. If you look at how people in Mar-a-Lago are cheering that Viktor Orban is coming on stage, and that Trump looks like a little runt of a man trying to say, "Oh, Orban is such a great dude. He's down." So you can see what they're doing. And yes, it's manipulative and it's sad, but that is what we're up against. And when they keep talking about how, Biden is so sleepy and Biden is this, Biden hasn't, they are trying their hardest to come up with anything and everything to say Biden is such a bad person from these.
Thanks to abortion, Trump will never become president of the United States, not because of Orban or Putin. And remember trip of Tucker Carlson to Budapest, Orban, and then to Putin to Moscow, and so on. All that's fine. Abortion, little abortion. all of a sudden decides this election. Women of the United States of America will not go for a thug who is putting this puppet Supreme Court, who are coming up with horrible decisions. They are rushing in immediately. Oh, no, 9-0. Okay, he has to be on the ballot in Colorado. And the obvious question, whether the president of the United States have complete immunity, they delay by 54 days. This what these idiots are doing. And if Biden, I'm pretty sure a lot of leaders in the place of Biden, they would immediately arrest the Supreme Court, put them in jail, give them time to find lawyers who will defend them and who will say, no, they're innocent, they haven't done anything wrong. No, they did. Okay, for a year and a half, they will be in jail without bail.
So the Supreme Court takes the summer off. So they have a last day of the year. It's like school, where they hear oral arguments. And the Supreme Court picked the very last day that they hear arguments before they go on summer break, April 25th. So they put it off as long as they could to rule on Trump's immunity.
And there is nothing that the what was it, the 11th Circuit? Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. I cannot remember the circuit court that actually
I think it was 11th.
Yeah, I think it was the 11th Circuit Court ruling that was airtight in terms of trying to push out the dumb, idiotic idea that the president has immunity from everything and anything what he does when he's in office. But the irony of the whole thing, of that whole immunity case, say they come back and say he has immunity. Are the now cases against Biden, these impeachment things and so on and so forth? Shouldn't he be immune? He's president now.
I'm hopeful that they will rule that he doesn't have immunity. I feel like there's some evidence they talked about the metadata in the 9-0 decision that he remains on the ballot, that there was maybe some evidence. They put out the decision fast enough that they didn't clean up like some evidence of previous drafts where it wasn't unanimous. And I'm taking that optimistically that the liberal three on the court said, all right, we will give you keeping a unanimous decision if you give us that he doesn't have immunity for everything he does. Now, I could be totally wrong.
54 days delay is much more important than decision itself, because in 54 days delay, they will have their saying one way or another June, maybe even July, and most likely they will agree with the previous court decision, but they're losing 3 months of doing that. Trump substantially. And I'll tell you one thing, in my opinion, this is enough ground to put Supreme Court in its entirety in jail, and Biden then can claim the immunity. Yeah, okay, I put him in jail. I didn't
That would be funny.
I just put him in jail and I'm immune because I'm a president. Okay, I just rode there for the next 2.5 years.
The deal is with Obama and Biden. Remember, Obama was called No Drama Obama, and Obama got played a lot by just evil Mitch McConnell, and just like he was trying to be conciliatory. Key and Peele made fun of him having to be a calm presence. Well, they did the Angry Obama translator, and so Obama, like he wasn't trying to upset any kind of apple. He wanted normal government. Biden is a huge normal government guy. He's been in the government since 1973 when he took office in the Senate. When he got elected, he was too young to even be a senator. He had to wait to have his birthday. So, you talk about these radical solutions, throw the Supreme Court in jail, expand the Supreme Court. These are not the solutions Biden looks to or might even be able to do.
What you're talking about is correct, though. But even, I'm no fan of Bush, any of the Bushes, but they were your normal presidents. What it is we have a legit individual who wants to be a tyrant, wants to be a dictator. That's why he brought Victor Orban is. I don't doubt that at some point he'll bring Kim Jong-un in. I don't doubt at some point he's going to bring all these strong men leaders that are dictators that have this whole authoritarian rule, because that's what he has in his mind. He wants last word on everything, and that's what those individuals have. He wants to be king. He wants to say, this is my word. This is the way it is. This is the way the hurricane was going. Don't you ever question that this is not the way the hurricane was going. My Sharpie tells the truth. Yeah, he lies. Yeah, it's true. You should be able to use house cleaning products to clean out COVID, and this light and that cleans COVID. Don't question that's who Trump is. And honestly, the beauty of what I'll give it to Jimmy Kimmel last night when he actually took the actual tweet, or the Truth Social tweet that he put out, and he read it in front of everybody and called him an idiot, because it's true. Those individuals, he doesn't care about the people that are voting for him. He cares about what the people who he sees above him, which are those stars that are in that room at the Oscars, the strong men that he goes to. He cares what those people see about him. And when they laughed in front of him, I think that hurt Trump more so than anything that we could say, because he doesn't, like I said, the individuals that he goes to these rallies and gets them all hyped up, he doesn't care about those people. Not at all.
Kimmel has said that he loves driving Trump crazy, that Trump is his muse, which he would have to be, because Trump now he's been in the public eye since 2015. And I know how miserable from other celebrities who were in the public eye. Like, I worked on Kimmel during the Michael Jackson era, during the Britney Spears Gets Crazy era. You run out of, it's hard to write new jokes for about the same person every day for months on end. And with Trump, it's been, nearly a decade. And I'm glad that he's getting delight out of messing with Trump. Otherwise, that would be a really hard chore.
Yep.
Well, of course, yesterday he was preaching to the choir. I mean, all the people.
With all the Hollywood elites that,
the Hollywood elite.
Hollywood elites, according to MAGA. Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't like he was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or Bismarck, North Dakota. Let's see how Jimmy Kimmel's speech would do there. Probably not too well.
But I got to, like, the MAGA has this idea that, they have and if you go to QAnon, they've got even more sinister ideas of about what people who work in showbiz are like, eating babies, drinking their blood. And really, like, when I was a kid, like, before I ever got to be work in entertainment, there was like a huge amount of like cocaine was the drug of choice in the 70s. And TV was really lazy. Like, there were 3 networks, and you're going to watch what we tell you to watch. And people were drugged up. But like, in the 50 years since then, most of, I think, the entertainment industry has become like just like upstanding and not normal, but like not the debacle, the debauches, the orgies, the drugs. Like, when I worked on Kimmel, our drug of choice was fiber gummies, and not cocaine, because you needed, when you're sitting at a desk working 10 hours a day, it sometimes it makes it hard to poop.
So there's practical reasons for that. But there was a couple political speeches at the Oscars the other day. There was one on Ukraine, Sasha. I don't know if you saw that. They had
yes.
A group of people, and apparently that was the first time Ukraine has won an Oscar. That was some person from Ukraine.
I saw this movie, this documentary. It's brilliant, and it's no surprise for me at all that it was nice. And I think that the MAGA audience probably was not too happy about it, but listen, who cares? I really do hope that the hope for America lying is that Trump will lose all states, all of them. He will not win even a single state. And that will spell the end of Trumpism once and for all. Then he'll get busy with his lawsuits, and somewhere he'll get some jail time here and there, and he will pay billions of dollars here and there. And that's basically, that's what one lawyer predicted several months ago, that Trump will end up his life as a destitute by legal fees, by penalties that he would have to pay, and maybe even in jail time. He's not ruling that out either. So we'll see.
I've been looking at the electoral maps predicting, and it would be, last time they split the states, they each won 25 plus Biden won Washington, D.C. It's tough. There are very few swing states. There, a lot of the red states are just baked in. There would have to be some kind of disaster for the Republicans, and Trump is a disaster. So it's possible for them to lose. There are red states, and then there are pinkish states that, like Florida's pinkish, Texas is pinkish. It's inconceivable.
Arizona is as well.
So, I mean, it's inconceivable that these states wouldn't vote Republican, but Trump himself is inconceivable. And if he did some, just insanely jackass things to somehow lose his people, I don't know what it would be. Would he have to make out with a dude on stage? Would he have to just like have a mental blip and say the N-word? Like, I think if he did that, if he had a little stroke and said the N-word like 20 times in a row at one of his rallies, I think that MAGA would scramble to explain how that's a good thing.
Okay. That honestly would make him even more, that would not work. He has Confederate flags flying at his rallies all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what those people say?
Yeah. I mean,
So
if he had sex with a golden retriever on stage, you see editorials explaining why A, it's a conspiracy, and B, it's a good thing.
Oh, wait a sec. Do you remember, which was very, very popular thing, a Steele dossier about 2 years ago? And there were rumors that Trump will squash and he will sue Pence out of this Steele, who provided this dossier against Trump and so on, and it was not true, and there was a golden shower with Russian prostitutes suggested, and many other things. Guess what? There was just a few days ago, last week, there was a trial in London when Trump was suing Steele, Daniel, what's his name, and guess what? Trump lost. He's such a loser that even this little thing, he just lost. Now, the order is quite interesting. Trump is liable for Steele's 600,000 pounds, not dollars, in legal fees, plus other damages, which will be specified later on. Now, out of the 600,000, he has to pay 300,000 pounds immediately. The other 300 he will pay together with other damages that would be determined by the High Court in London. Bravo, Trump! Bravo, loser! A pathetic loser, the biggest loser of all times, of all nations. It's just nobody can touch him.
I mean, but if
I think the essence of that trial was Trump, I think, sued for defamation, and British laws are stronger against slander but the crux of the case was that report was supposed to be private, and Steele did not defame him because he didn't make a public utterance.
Well, think about it this way, though, talking about the defamation. Well, Trump just lost a defamation case. He just paid the $90 million we just talked about. Well, he's saying the same thing that caused him to lose the trial. So she can actually sue him again for the same thing, and he would lose again. The price will probably go up, So if you're looking at, the money, nothing this man will do will get his people to turn from him. They
But
will
also,
create any idea. They love him because he makes liberals mad. They don't care about his policies. They don't care about anything he does. He makes liberals mad. That's all they care about.
but this is all trouble, all these financial problems of Trump. It's nothing to Trump. He doesn't have to worry about anything. It's a worry for Putin, because he has to tell his oligarchs to put more and more money as a guarantees for jobs and other bond agencies or whoever, just to put more money, to put, okay, here is another $1 billion, here is another $5 billion here and there. But you know what? Putin is quite pragmatic guy, and he may figure out that, what am I putting billions of dollars? And what if Trump is losing election? Then where can I get relief for my billions of dollars they're going to put for him? You know what? Let's see how things will develop. And
Well, I mean, Putin rolled the dice in 2016. Putin, it didn't cost very much. It cost a few tens of millions of bucks to do the propaganda onslaught that helped Trump get elected. And it was the best money Putin ever spent. And he's willing to roll the dice again. And we're expected to, and are already getting hit with an unprecedented wave of BS rolling over us via social media.
Yeah, you say something very interesting, Sasha, about where'd the money come from. That's actually been a big legal problem for quite some time. And so what happened, Congress passed this act, the Corporate Transparency Act. And we're scrambling, as most attorneys are, to make sure that we fill out, I even filled it out for some of my corporations already, disclosing the ultimate beneficial owner, okay? Because let's say that you wanted to operate here in the United States, but you didn't want people to know who you were. I said, well, we'll fill out a corporation, we'll create a corporation for you in the United States. You'll become a shareholder, but you won't be on the board, you won't be an officer, but you'll own the company. And guess what? As a shareholder, no one will know who you are. Oh, that's been going on in the U.S. for years. Okay, so one of the problems, so what they did, Congress passed an act called the Corporate Transparency Act, saying we have to now disclose to a federal register who our owners of our companies are. Guess what happened? It just got struck down by a U.S. District Court judge. They said it was illegal. So right now it's in limbo whether or not you have to disclose the ultimate beneficial owner of corporations and trust. But that game has been going on for years. So your theory that perhaps Putin is behind this could be true.
So I want to talk about what is at stake with Trump versus Biden that people haven't mentioned. Now, we know that, people say if Trump becomes president, then he'll never leave the White House. He'll find reasons just to never, he'll destroy democracy. And maybe, though, he's bad at stuff. So, he was bad at it. His insurrection lasted 3 hours, 4 hours. So maybe he won't destroy democracy just because he sucks at stuff. But with AI and the related technology, the world's GDP might double in the next 10 or 15 years. And I just want us to have normal, you talked about Bush, the Bushes were normal government, Obama, normal government, Biden, normal, reasonable, not perfect government, but just like doing the functions of government in a, making reasonable efforts. And I'm worried that, with Trump's idiot government, and we lose our technological superiority. We lose to India, we lose to China. The world's most brilliant young people don't want to come here because Trump is deporting people left and right. And we miss out on the shower of progress and money to be made from AI and related accelerating technologies because Trump has helped make our country stupider. He's anti-education, with the charter junk and the vouchers and he just dumbs down our country, and it costs us trillions of dollars in future income.
But Rick, maybe U.S. is a dumb country if half of the country wants to elect Donald Trump, who is I run out of words to describe really what he is, and you know that just as well as others.
Yeah, but I
So,
hate that. I
yeah,
hate that this election is smart people versus dumb people. And when I see a really handsome or cute a blonde person driving a Range Rover in town, and they're obviously an idiot because they have a little dog on their lap and they're talking on their phone, and like I can tell that they succeeded in Hollywood, because they're cute, even though they're idiots. That just makes me want to tear my remaining hair out, because I hate people who follow. I can't succeed in Hollywood from being cute, and I don't like seeing that niche, that evolutionary niche, that you can succeed by being cute and dumb.
I will have to I will say ignorant rather than dumb, because ignorance just means the lack of knowledge. Dumb is a completely different thing. So I'll say those that are voting for Trump they got conned, because I can't. And another reason I can't do the dumb and smart thing is because, for example, there are a lot of very, very smart people who believe the earth is flat and that vaccines cause autism. So there are really smart people that are in the whole anti-vax movement, but they are conned and caught into something because of their emotions, and their emotions tied them to something, so they cannot believe something different, which I feel this is the same thing which grabbed those Trump followers. A lot of them don't want to look into or research, particular things that he says, because they believe that what he says is law, one, because of their emotional attachment to him, or their laziness into looking something up. Right. And so I'll go with the ignorant side, that, hey, a lot of these people are ignorant on the ideas that he's talking about. Like, for example, there was at one rally that he was, because people talk about, well, he was so great on our taxes. He cut our taxes this and cut our taxes that, but are ignorant to the fact of what he actually did. Because at one rally, he started talking about, well, next week we're going to cut your taxes by 10%. He said that because they knew they weren't going to look into the fact that Congress was going on recess at the time. That Congress could not pass something in a week, but they bought into it because of the idea and the attachment. So I'll say that it was, it's those that decided or got trapped into this ignorance wave that Trump brought about, because it's easier to be ignorant on a lot of things.
It is more than ignorance, for sure. And I'll tell you that I have among my friends, associates, just people that I'm in touch from time to time, a lot of them are pro-Trump, and a lot of them are pro Republicans. But you see what, okay, I understand what they're coming from. They're against Trudeau and liberals in Canada. So somehow they're portrays their hopes and aspirations with the progressive, the Progressive Party of Canada, which is equivalent of Republicans in the United States. So they're projecting that on Republican Party in the United States, which is completely different. And they do realize, by the way, while being pro-Trump, they are realizing that there is no such thing as anymore the Republican Party of the United States. There is no Republican Party; it's a Trump's party. And what's the difference is? The difference is that if you are a Republican and you can have a different point of view from other Republicans, okay, you're entitled to have your position, and you can discuss it and figure out who's right, who's wrong, or maybe adjust both positions or so on. But not in the party of Trump. It's a Trump's position and all others which are wrong by definition. So they're not really ignorant, as you're suggesting, but I'll just add one more thing. They are absolutely ignorant. In this case, I agree. Ignorant about the press, the social side, any negative information of Trump. You know, I even tried one thing. There was some kind of an article from New Yorker, and I sent it to one of my so-called Trumpist friends, and offer them read it. It's quite interesting, well written up. Before reading these articles, that person had to find out, first of all, where it was published, who is the author of that article, dig into it, who is that writer and what she wrote in some other magazines, and she figured out that she is anti-Trump. And she said, I cannot read anything written by that person. Okay? So they are not even... I always say that one of the major qualities of the human beings, and most important one, is curiosity. Curiosity is that what makes a human race different from animals. And that person, the people who are pro-Trump, they lack curiosity completely.
Elon Musk is an example of what Jacoby was citing, which is being mentally lazy. Musk is obviously a brilliant guy. Yeah. And he started off pretty uniformly liberal, but for the past, 5 years, he's had conservative, like Trumpy people whispering in his ear, and Musk is impressed with his brilliance and thinks every thought he has to be correct because it's in his brilliant head. And he's just, he's been buying, it's called getting red pilled. You start buying the whole like MAGA worldview. A lot of which, doesn't stand up to, a lot of thought.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, Mark, I apologize. We kept you up too late. Oh, and you're muted.
Yep, he was way up too late. He's muted and everything.
Yeah, because Mark is like the greatest guy. He's a superhero because we can only tape our show. To do our stupid show, we tape it late Sunday night because that's the only time the 405 you can get anywhere where there's no traffic.
No, and I appreciate it. Y'all did a great job. And like I was saying, except for I was on mute, I actually had a early morning meeting because as Jacoby knows, I'm also in the educational assessment space. And we actually started training today and that started at 7. So I'm actually operating on like about 3 hours of rest and everything. But I know that Jacoby was all excited about some hockey match because I saw his quote about that on social media. And I had a quick question of him about social media. And it was based on what y'all were talking about and all along those lines, because apparently Trump has called Facebook the enemy of the people because he has said that this whole thing with TikTok, that this is going to make Facebook more powerful and that Facebook apparently is the enemy of the people. So he says that a TikTok ban would empower Meta and he slammed Facebook as quote unquote the enemy of the people. So I didn't know that Facebook was the enemy of the people, but apparently according to him it is. And on that same note of social media, apparently some people did some research on Katie Britt and found out that that incident that she was talking about took place way back when it wasn't even in this particular time frame and everything. So she was trying to put it on Biden, and the facts are that it is nowhere near Biden's responsibility because apparently it happened way back in maybe the era of Reagan or Bush or one of those folks back then. But I just wondering
just to point out to that, the facts were wrong, the time was wrong, the actual place was wrong, what took place was wrong, the individuals involved. She, because I heard about the story actually right before jumping on, they talked about it, how she's being called into action because even the individual, she really didn't meet in a one-on-one space to talk about this. Katie Britt met her along with a group of people. It was they were all at the border, but she didn't really meet the person. She, I guess, overheard the story, but she didn't get even the okay to tell the story. And even worse, telling it wrong and everything. So the individual that she didn't get the okay to tell the story is ticked off because she's using it as political fodder.
Right.
So yeah.
So Katie Britt delivered she's a senator from Alabama, delivered the Republican response to the State of the Union. And the story we're talking about is about a woman who was taken prisoner and made into a sex slave for several years. And yet, and with the implication that this is Biden's America, except when she was a sex slave, it was like 2008 or 2004, and it was in Mexico. She never made it to America until after.
And it was a pimp. She wasn't taken in. It was a pimp that she had. It wasn't that she had the pimp, of course. She got, she was a sex slave in that way, but had a pimp.
Yep. Hey, Jacoby and Rick and even Sasha, we're talking about how we're not sending our boots on the ground in certain military actions like around Ukraine and even around Israel. But apparently the U.S. forces are going to fly in because maybe it's closer to us to beef up the security at the embassy in Haiti and apparently maybe help evacuate some of the folks, because I think that they still have many of their thousands of prisoners that broke out that are still out probably about a week and a half later. So I was just wondering y'all's thoughts, because that is closer to home. Haiti is just around the corner to some degree and everything. So just wondering your thoughts about this notion of U.S. forces flying to beef up security in a troubled part of the Caribbean.
Seems reasonable to me. Haiti's been a failed state for decades, and it's definitely in our neighborhood, and we have the strongest military in the world. And if we can do something humanitarian, that's I don't know that it's straightforward, but I mean, there's a straightforward need. So yeah.
Yep, sounds like it's a good move and everything, and definitely something that is needed to be done and all in that kind of way. I did see that there's still conversation going on around Israel and this notion of humanitarian aid, and even some back and forth talk between Netanyahu and Biden and everything. But is this humanitarian ship going to work? Because I think there's going to be a ship that'll be off the coast that is supposed to help get people off the that particular area and get them some food and also some possible shelter, since many of their homes have been bombed and destroyed. But I
don't get it. If they really want to have Palestinians, it's so logistically difficult to arrange for all this food packaged on parachutes and bringing them to there and three times a day. Why wouldn't they take in Palestinians on these ships and feed them right there and provide them the normal living conditions, and then let them live on the ships for a while? They can organize schools, the mosques, and other necessary things for them, and then maybe bring them to friendly country like Libya or maybe Egypt, or I don't know, whatever. That's much safer. And this is, I think Palestinians would jump at the opportunity to be in normal human conditions, have good food, schools, and normal life. And I think that's what should America do. And it will not cost that much more money than what they're trying to do now.
I agree. And like, Netanyahu's not really listening to us a whole lot now. Netanyahu prefers Trump to Biden, so he's pretty stubborn about,
Rick, he's already dismissed Biden's warning over innocent lives being lost in the Israeli war with Hamas in Gaza. So he just dismissed that totally.
Yeah. So what you can do, I mean, yeah, if you have ships, you can, people would say, well, but what if you're letting Hamas out of the country? Well, just let on children, women. That a 6-year-old can't belong to Hamas. It's a 6-year-old.
It's much more complicated than that, because not only are you talking, I mean, you have individuals that have a home that is being attacked, and we're saying that we're going to move those individuals away from their home and take them to a foreign place that they've never heard of, don't have anything to do with.
Oh, there's no more that. That.
Then on top of that, these individuals want to be in their homes. They want to be, but they want peace. And so what the issue is,
there's no peace. Be real, Jacoby. Be realistic. There's no homes, there's no peace.
Sasha, you're trying to make it into some simplistic thing that, hey, let's just throw them on a boat and move them anywhere. That's not possible, because not only are you talking about individuals that want to be in their homes, You want to take them away from their homes.
There is no
And then-
home anymore.
Hold
It's
on.
home.
Let me finish.
Home.
Sasha, let me finish, because we get that. But another reason why Erdogan and Egypt didn't want to open up the border and let people flood in wasn't it was partially due to Hamas, but also due to the history of that region and the fact that we are talking about now, hey, it's going to be easy just to displace and remove everybody there. Are they going to be able to go back home? That's an issue. It's because right now, Netanyahu's big push, which he said is that he wants Israel across the whole board.
He's absolutely right.
No, this is what Netanyahu said.
And he is right.
Netanyahu said that he wants Israel from the river to the sea.
He is absolutely
Netanyahu
right.
said that.
Israel won all
Listen
wars
to what I said.
with Arabs in the last 75
Listen to what I
years.
said.
And Israel is the right
Netanyahu doesn't
owner
want a
of
two-state
all the
solution
territory.
and doesn't want the Palestinian people to have their homeland.
There's no more.
Netanyahu said that Netanyahu's own words was that he wants Israel from the river to the
And
sea.
he is right. He is
Hold on.
absolutely
You're
right.
not listening. Did you listen to what I said?
Okay.
Listen to what I said. Netanyahu said he wants Israel from the river to the sea.
And he is
An
right.
offensive term that we have argued on this
You guys are going around in circles.
Absolutely right.
He's
Israel
basically saying that Netanyahu is right, according to
is
Sasha. So,
Listen,
lost
Sasha,
the territory.
stop.
period. Full stop.
The people of Palestine, the
That's right.
protesters have been attacked multiple times for saying from the river to the sea, but you're okay with Netanyahu saying from the river to the sea.
Because
That is what I just
Netanyahu,
stated to you.
it's his
So
responsibility.
we understand that we're talking about a genocidal situation,
Wait a second.
and we're talking about a situation where they just want to remove.
Okay,
the
let's
people.
do
That
it.
is also part of the complex situation that we're saying is
Right,
so
but we did it in World War II. In World War II, we had the Kindertransport, which got a bunch of kids out of Germany and to England, at least to save some kids. And
again. I understand that. I understand that. But you're dealing in 20. We keep talking about World War II. This is not World War II. We are in 2024 and people are being killed. And we're saying, oh, well, we'll just move and it'll be easy. We can't
it won't
even
be easy,
agree
but
on the
it might
border
save some
situation.
people.
Listen, we can't even agree on the border situation where people are coming seeking asylum, coming seeking help. And we're saying it's going to be just easy to go over on a boat and take 1 million plus people away from Gaza and just drop them in the
We're not
US.
talking a million. We're talking maybe a few thousand kids, maybe if you want to do it that way.
more than
And it
just
looks
1,000.
it's Netanyahu's not going to listen to the U.S. But
We
like
agree.
if we put 2,000 kids on some boats, at least it looks like the U.S.
There
is
was a
doing
mother
something.
and
I
two
mean,
kids that died at a border, and people are saying that's okay. They were seeking help, and the Texas Border Patrol would not help her. Would not help the two children.
But we're not a
You're
unit.
saying that we will be okay. Everybody will be on board with grabbing
No,
the Palestinian people. Let me finish. The Palestinian people who we have demonized and said that those Palestinian people are Hamas. You're saying that we're just going to be okay bringing children in. That's not possible.
We're not bringing them in. We're putting them on a boat and a ship. And, and the U.S. isn't a unitary country. Yeah, some people in Texas, some MAGAs might be like, you're letting little Hamas people, out of the country, letting them escape. But like other people, when you see the pictures of like that 10-year-old kid who starved to death, when you hear the stories, we're parachuting food in, one of those food drops squashed 5 people. They're under it trying to get it. It smushes them.
We're not going to be able to convince the people who did the shooting that wasn't in Texas that shot up the Palestinian kids, the college kids that weren't in Texas. So
Sure,
we're
you had a
not
point, and
going
we
to be
need to
able
wrap up. And I did have
convince
one
those
anniversary I was going to
individuals.
mention really quickly that we can talk about on tomorrow. But Sasha, your quick point.
My quick point is this, Jitovi, you very often try to divide Palestinians from Hamas. Okay, here's Hamas, they're bandits, they're criminals, and so on, and they're Palestinian people. Jitovi, but agree that first of all, Hamas people are the same Palestinians, and the difference is only that they have weapons.
You're proving my point.
And Palestinians don't have weapons. That's the only difference. But Hamas would not have a 30,000 plus army without Palestinians being fitted in that army, given the training, the weapons, and so on. So you cannot divide Palestinians from Hamas. It's about the same thing. The Hamas people
have just proved my point.
No, Jito, with all due respect, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm trying to reflect on the thought that I have.
What did I just state to Rick about putting the people onto boats and bringing them here?
I've heard that.
After bringing the individuals who were demonized, just as you're stating right now, that, those Palestinian people are Hamas. You are stating that. You are an individual on here that lives in Canada, and we can't even get you to understand that those individuals that would get put on boats are not Hamas. And you yourself would demonize those individuals that came in off that same boat. So it's not just the MAGA wing. There's more than just the MAGA wing that would attack.
Sasha, hold on a second. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. By your logic, then all black people are members of the Black Panthers?
No, I wouldn't say that. There are Black Panthers, there are black people. But those black people who will take weapons and become part of Black Panther, they're Black Panthers. So there's a very easy move from black people to Panthers if that's what they desire. So, but it's much easier to move from regular Palestinian to become a Hamas member.
Everything you stated has proven my point.
Okay, hold on. All he has to do to talk to Hamas officials, get the training, the weapon, and he's now a Hamas person.
At least 10% of the Gazan population is 6 or younger. A 6-year-old, even if they're a little bit Hamas, you get them out of there, you give them education, you put a 6-year-old doesn't have to stay Hamas, or a 2-year-old can't possibly be anything because they're a 2-year-old. You get some kids out of there, it would look good for Biden. It would be like, we can't change what Netanyahu's going to do, but we can pull out a few starving kids.
Rick, is
Frozen
can be considered a Hamas person?
What?
Frozen embryo could be considered a Hamas person?
Well, yeah, because they are people. So, yeah.
But by that same logic, and we're going to end the anniversary that I was going to mention, and we can talk about this tomorrow, but apparently this is the 4th year anniversary, because I heard y'all alluded to it while I was dealing with my training stuff and everything, is the 4th year anniversary of the WHO declaring the COVID pandemic. So this is actually the 4th year that it happened. So it's actually on today, March 12th of 2000, that they came up with that, March 11th of that particular announcement.
Now
we can
year
talk about
5. Welcome to year 5 of the pandemic.
Yep, this would be year 5 that we're going to go into. And so some folks say it's over. And with the fact that there are still cases out there and there's still things going on and there's still people taking vaccines and some people still fighting the vaccines, I don't know that we're totally out of it, even though I have some friends that are loving it. And we saw
up, but I did shift to my lightweight informal masks that goes around my ears.
How many people did you see wearing a mask at the Oscars? And Jacoby, you just came from a Carolina Hurricanes game. Apparently it was an amazing game. Were there a lot of people wearing masks at the game?
Mm-mm.
No, so I didn't see any masks at the Oscars. Now, in past years, they have made sure that they've tested people. I don't think there was even any testing. And we'll see, in the next week, if there's a little, if we find out that dozens of people who went to the Oscars ended up catching COVID. The LA numbers are pretty good right now, but it's hard to tell whether it's because COVID is way down or because just nobody is testing anymore.
I want to tell you something that I just flew to Aruba from Toronto. There was no requirements of any tests or any procedures, neither in Toronto nor in Aruba. It was like a normal traveling before COVID-19.
Yeah, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, is pretending that it's over and everybody should just go back to work and back to school and, you know, get vaccinated if you feel like it. But they're being pretty casual, and it's very annoying because it doesn't line up with the science.
It's a vaccination. It seems to me it's very similar to abortion, between yourself and your doctor. Okay, you want to get vaccinated, go and do it. You don't want to do it, just don't.
There is a difference between that.
Yeah.
Vaccinate with the vaccination and the cold, or vaccination or the disease itself. The disease can spread. So if we're all close to each other, then if you have the disease, you can affect tons of people around you. So you're a public safety risk. And abortion isn't. And abortion is a personal decision. Yeah. So there's a big difference.
That is a big difference. On that note, we can continue this discussion on tomorrow. I know the economics is going on right now. We've also got media later on, but right now we're going to get ready to get on out of here. And I've got to finish this training and stuff, but we're going to get out of here right now. But it's been another great show.